Hello. Welcome to DNA Hardwired. Common sense turned upside down. My name is Pop, and with me is my co-host Jackie. Our other two co-hosts, they had some issues, so they won't be joining us. Jonathan might be joining us later, but for right now, it's just going to be just me and Jackie. Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode on Common Sense Turned Upside Down. Our last few episodes, we've been covering politics, Donald Trump's election, and hopefully eventually we'll get to the homelessness and, as my daughter calls it, the unhoused. Yes, exactly. My daughter, that's one thing I love about her. She believes in being politically correct. So she's introducing me to new terminology. But brother Jackie, before we get into it, go ahead, Jackie.
I said, so we're not short, we're vertically challenged.
Yes, there you go. I prefer that. I prefer that. Okay, brother Jackie. Anything you want to cover before we get started?
Yes. I had a situation yesterday here in Dallas. I get invited to a barbecue last minute, and from a friend of mine I've been knowing for damn near 35 years.
A friend of yours?
For like 35 years. So
a male, female?
No. I mean, I know the girl, and I was invited by her dude's house to a barbecue. She's dating this guy, so she invites me over. So while there, the conversation of politics come up. And it went down a dark road within 25 minutes of starting this, of us having this conversation.
So let me interrupt you. Jackie, let me interrupt you for 1 second so I can get a better picture. So it's you, and who else is there with you?
Okay. Thing is I'm myself, a friend of mine, the girl, and it was her boyfriend, his uncle, and another couple that showed up. It was the guy from that couple, all there.
Okay.
So it's 4 dudes and 1 girl.
Okay.
That was outside at the time.
Okay.
4 guys. So they're on this, the difference between Trump and Biden.
Okay.
Democrats and Republicans.
Okay.
And so it gets to the point to where we cannot, I shouldn't say this on air like this, on us black men, to not be able to, we cannot have a level of discord without throwing our emotions in, to the point to where the guy that was there, the guy that showed up with his girlfriend that was in the relationship, he and I almost damn near come to blows in the backyard, to where I get up, he gets up, and I get up, and we're about to go at, like we're about to literally go at, over a difference of opinion about who's in office and what they doing is successful, this, that, and the other. My issue is, and I said this yesterday, lower your voice and strengthen your argument. You can be the loudest in the room, but you can still be loud and wrong. Same goes for me. But if we're supposed to be intelligent, we should be able to have a level of discourse without it being so damn personal, to where it literally comes to putting our hands on each other and potentially the loss of life, someone getting hurt, or unfortunately possible the loss of life, because emotionally we can't handle any level of pushback. We're talking about 55, 60-year-old men and we're about to fight in the backyard. That is, as a black man, for me, or as a black man, that is totally, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing to be part of, to put myself, to be part of that group. That we cannot have a level of discourse, or we cannot disagree without it getting personal. To where instead of staying on track with the conversation, he drills down on the fact that the N-word is coming out of our mouths while we're talking. But you've been saying this word the whole day. Now all of a sudden you find it offensive that I said it. No, you're looking for a fight. And I'm willing to go there in the sense of, bro, we're not gonna go down this road. Matter of fact, after it was squashed, I said, hey, bro, let's squash this and come back and have a conversation. Nah, man, F this, kiss this, yada, 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 yada. I'm like, bro, you're this upset over who's in office? You're this upset over who's in office? So my question was, tell me who you're married. Tell me who your local city councilman is. Tell me who your local sheriff is, because if we look at any county in this country, the sheriff has way more power than what we think. But we won't go off of that election. We won't get to know that individual. But we're gonna wrap it, we're gonna say the communities are messed up because of who's in the office from a presidential standpoint. But you don't know your city councilman, your mayor, you don't know the sheriff, you don't know anyone that makes decisions on that affect your neighborhood. I think it's embarrassing that this is where we are, and it's 2025. But I land because it's frustrating. I've gone out of my way to work on me, to educate myself. That doesn't mean I know everything. It's been no secret about who I said I voted for. Can I come back and say, you know what? Hey, Pop, I may have made a mistake. I may not have looked at this thing, looked at the landscape correctly. But I'm not going to blows with you because we disagree on some nonsense. Or we disagree on this. So intellectually, we got work to do. All right, I'll land.
Okay. Jackie, brother, I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I'm sure what you experienced occurs every day, all day, whether you black, white. Uh, I think that's where we're at today, and hopefully, through us having these podcasts and having maybe a more of a, like you said, intellectually honest conversation, um, uh, we may be able to help dispel some of that. But I get you. I understand what you're saying. I get it. Okay. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and you and I'll kind of get into it a little bit more, and I'm sure we're going to touch on some of those issues that may have been able to help that conversation that you were involved in over the weekend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of recap some of the things we've discussed so far. And we're basically, the last few episodes, we've been talking about politics, President Trump's election, and like I said, homelessness or so-called unhoused. So let me kind of recap some of the stuff that we've discussed so far. And I really appreciate what you said too earlier, Jackie, about how because you're willing to at least try to be open-minded about this thing, that you're able to look at some things now that maybe you didn't have uh, uh, the knowledge of or whatever at the time, but and this is what I'm looking for is, and I know you voted for Donald Trump because you shared that with us, but I also feel that you're not a Republican. All right. Uh, and And the reason I'm pointing that out is because I think because you are really not a Republican, you're not really locked into, not that Republicans are bad, don't get me wrong, but you're really not locked into their philosophy overall. At this point in time, you had a choice. You had a choice between two candidates, not two parties necessarily, but you were looking at it from two candidates. And in your mind, based upon the information that you had, your thoughts, your feelings, at that time, you chose to vote for Donald Trump. And so that's cool. So right now, though, this is what I'm looking at. Here it is months later. You're at least open-minded enough that you're willing to say, you didn't say well, I know I was wrong. And blah. You didn't say that. You said that at least I'm willing to consider that if I had to do it again, maybe I would have done it differently. I mean, we can't do no better than that, brother. We can't do no better than that. Okay? We can't do no better than that. And that's all I'm looking for on this podcast. There's no way in hell we're going to have, because first of all, we don't have that many people listening to us. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, even if we had a ton of people listening to us, we're not going to have people in droves saying, you know what, based upon that DNA Hardwired podcast, Common Sense Turned Upside Down, I've completely changed my mind. We're not going to have that. You know, we're not going to have that. What we want to have is people like you, onesies, twosies, who say, based upon certain information that I have knowledge of now, I'm at least willing to look at things. Because we got a midterm election coming up. That's an important time. We have a midterm election coming up. So for people, and I'm not saying that you're going to do this, but for people like you who may now realize or have second thoughts, might reconsider what he or she might do during the midterms, and that might change some things. Okay? So I'm going to let you interrupt here for a second if you got anything to say before I do this recap. We good?
Oh, yeah, I'm good right now.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So let's
let me say this.
Go ahead.
We cannot get locked into one position.
No, I agree.
Not be willing to move.
I agree.
Say that again.
I said I agree.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, we cannot get just locked in and put blinders on. You know, like any goal. And I heard this for years. You write your goals in concrete, but you put that plan in the sand, because the plan may change, but the destination should not change.
Right.
So, all right.
So recapping, we start, and these is recapping our last couple of episodes. Like I said, dealing with politics and President Trump, election of President Trump. We start off by talking about really the goal. My goal for these episodes on politics is really I'm just trying to reach the 40% of eligible voters who didn't vote. That's really who I'm trying to reach. I totally get it. I understand that you got some people on the left and some people on the right. They're on the left and they're on the right. They probably, chances are, they're not going to budge too much. But I think the result of the election was the result of those approximately 40% of eligible voters who didn't vote. I really think that's really the real issue. It ain't the fact that there was more Republicans that voted for Democrats or less Democrats that voted. I really think it's that 40%. And I think that 40%, who knows? I think a lot of them were Democrats, a lot of them were independents, maybe, a few Republicans. But that's who I'm really trying to reach, is that 40%. We talked about people that didn't vote, because they didn't, one of the things you pointed out was that they really didn't feel that their vote counted because of the Electoral College. And what we did was we talked about the Electoral College, and bottom line is, if you didn't vote, because you didn't think your vote counted, guess what? Your vote really did count in a way, because what happened, your non-vote counted in a way, because what that did was that helped, to me anyway, ensure that Donald Trump won the election. In my mind, I could be wrong. We briefly discussed the Republicans' goals and ways they try to suppress the vote. We went over some of those ways by gerrymandering, limiting mail-in voting, yada yada yada. So there's a lot of ways, and there's a reason that I think that the Republicans are trying to limit the vote, because I think most of us would agree that as far as popular vote wise goes, which translate into electoral college votes, um, probably there are more folks that would, I'm guessing, lean more toward the Democratic or the liberal way of thinking about politics. Again, so that's why I'm really concerned with the 40% of eligible voters that didn't get off their butts and go out and vote. I made a Facebook post, and what I did was I referenced the election cycles going back to Ronald Reagan coming forward to present day President Trump. And you can do this for yourself, or you can look me up on Facebook. It's James Pop, P-O-P, James Pop Knuckles, K-N-U-C-K-L-E-S. My posts are public, so if you look me up, you're going to see that post. And what I did was I showed that starting with the president right after Reagan, when Reagan was in office, the country didn't fall apart, but I kind of walked away from the mic. Let me get back over here. But when President Reagan was in office, the country didn't fall apart, but the economy, there was some issues with the economy during the Reagan years, and I know a lot of folks, especially Republicans, they don't want to talk about that. But when President Clinton came in, under his administration, there was higher growth, lower unemployment rate, second largest period of peacetime economic expansion in American history. His administration balanced the budget. That was during 1998 to 2001. His administration balanced the budget, and prior to that, the last time the budget was balanced was by another Democrat, Lyndon B. Johnson. Okay, so during the Clinton administration. By the way, the budget hasn't been balanced since. Okay, so during the Clinton administration, at the end of his administration, the economy was rolling; it was jamming, right? So then, and I like President George Bush. I like President George W. Bush Jr. I like him. I think he's a good man, honorable man. But as president, during his term, 2001 through 2009. The growth of the country established under Bill Clinton, it diminished. Okay, as a matter of fact, George Bush's first term, the economy was in such bad shape, the country's in such bad shape, people was questioning whether or not he should be elected for a second term. A lot of people said, wait a minute, let's just give him a chance. He's new at this, it's his first term. Let's give him a second chance. So we did. The country voted for him for a second term. And then guess what happened? The country suffered such a decline to the point where it put us in a recession in 2018 under the Bush administration. It was the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. So that's what happened. All right. So keep in mind, we had a Republican administration under Reagan, not so good. We had a Democrat come in under Clinton, really, really well. Now Republican takes over, we'll go into a recession. All right. So now we get this black dude come along, first black president in history, right? Only black president in history, Barack Hussein Obama. He's in office from 2009 to 2017. Now, so after Bush, guess what happened with the economy, right? We were in the dumps, and under Obama, it improved and recovered, all right? The labor market experienced long periods of growth. He took steps to create jobs, rescued the auto industry. And I don't know if you remember this, while he was rescuing the auto industry, people were saying, no, don't rescue the auto industry. No. He gave them all this money. They paid him back in interest, paid us back, paid the country back in interest. All right. Obama got health care for us. Republicans fighting it all the way. They're fighting it all the way. Don't want health care for American citizens. Obama got all of that. So, economy, here we are humming along again under Democratic leadership, right? So then we get President Donald J. Trump, Republican. No experience at all. None. Nada. Zip. Okay. He comes in office after Obama. For the first 2 years, Donald Trump's administration looked really, really good. Well, he was running on gas. That gas tank was full based upon what Obama had done. All right. So guess what? Toward the end of his first term, he ended up getting impeached. Right. 2019, he got impeached the first time. And then he got impeached again. Only the second person in American history to ever get impeached twice. If you do searches, you'll see that he's been rated as the worst. Let's put it this way: top 5. Anywhere he's been rated as the top 5 worst presidents in history. Some places registering number 1. Some places having 2, 3, 4, or 5. Worst president in history. He lost over 6 million jobs from when he took over from Obama. He's one of only 2 presidents who have lost jobs over their terms as president. Only 1 or 2 has ever done that. Herbert Hoover was the other one, and that was during the Great Depression. So he survived his 4 years. The country, we survived too, but not all that great. We made it through though. Economy was really we're in bad shape. Unemployment rate was crazy. So then we get this Democrat, Joseph Biden, 2021 through 2025, after Republican President Trump. He took over. The country saw significant growth, over 16 million jobs created, showing a strong economic recovery. Brought the inflation down from the Trump administration. Historic lows in unemployment, a 70-year low, as a matter of fact. Signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law, reduced prescription drug costs. I mean, he just did so much. He strengthened the Affordable Health Care Act, making healthcare more accessible and affordable. He did a lot, but because the man was old, and I have to acknowledge it, he was old, and he definitely showed signs of his age. He looked old, especially compared to Trump. Trump appeared a lot more energetic than Biden did. And so due to pressure from the party and the public, Joseph Biden decided that he loved the country more than, wanting to be elected the second time. So he withdrew. He gave the party and the people what they wanted, which was a younger candidate. And that candidate was Kamala Harris. All right. Things were looking good. Everybody thought she was going to win. I thought she was going to win. But she didn't. Kamala Harris didn't win. Donald Trump was reelected. All right. He's now the president for the second time. And just after 8 months or so, he had inherited an unemployment rate of 4.1. Biden brought the employment rate down. Now I have to acknowledge, during the latter years in Trump's administration, we were hit by COVID, and that caused some issues to happen. But the unemployment rate was sky high. Under Biden's administration, he brought it down to 4.1%. And that was the lowest since Bill Clinton was president. All right. Now, after being in office for 8 months, the unemployment rate's rising. Right now, it's at 4.3. There's a slowdown in the labor market. Only 20,000 jobs added last month in August. That's the first monthly decline since 2020. Prices are rising. Grocery prices are rising. Retail sales. I mean, overall, right now, things are going downhill. And this is only after the first 8 or 9 months that President Trump's been in office. So I know I've been running my mouth, all right, but what I wanted to show was this cycle. of how the economy went under a Republican president, then a Democrat, Republican president, then a Democrat, Republican president, and looked like we're still on that same track because the economy was doing pretty well under Biden, old man, senile, right? But the economy was doing pretty well. And now 8 months later, we're starting to see the effects of this unqualified person as a president of the United States, and only time is going to tell where we're going to end up. So, but like I said, hopefully by the midterms, people will awoken enough to realize that hey, we need to change directions. Okay, so like I said, I've been running my mouth. All right, go ahead. Let you in on this, brother Jackie. You supposed to be on this podcast. You still there, brother Jackie? You on mute? Jackie, are you there? Hello, Jackie, are you on mute?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You didn't fall, brother. You didn't fall asleep on the man, did you?
No. I'm literally sitting here.
Okay.
I don't know if I cut out or whatever, but I'm literally sitting here.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So
Listening.
like I said, I know I've been going on for
and maybe I cut out.
yeah, and I went on for like 10 or 15 minutes there. So I want to make sure I give you an opportunity to go ahead and say anything you might want to say. If not, we can move on.
No. My only point is that we know there's not a perfect.
What was that again?
Party.
What was that again, Jackie? I missed that part. What would you say?
I said there's not a perfect modern day political party.
I got you. I agree with that.
We know that.
I agree with that.
And so, and I've used this example when I speak to the Jewish community, in the sense of if you go to that community and you want their vote, they're going to lay out what they want in return for said vote. So while we're over here at times playing chess, playing checkers, they're over there playing chess. There's corruption on both sides. So how do we maneuver? How do we play the game? That's like me. Let's say you have a business, and I'm outside of your business with a picket sign that says hire more minorities. That doesn't influence you to hire more minorities. I have to figure out a way how to get inside and maneuver from the inside. That's why I say they're playing chess. We're playing checkers. And we wonder why we're not moving because we're not even in the same game. That's when it becomes strategic. We have to learn how to be strategic in our movements. And I rest.
Okay. Yeah. My only thing is, and I've been saying this over and over and over and over, and so maybe it might some folk may get it. The bottom line is, like you said, Jackie, and I agree with you. There's no perfect political party, but we got two. It's like there's no perfect man or woman, but if you want to mate, you're going to have to pick an imperfect man or imperfect woman. So you got to choose what you're going to do.
Correct.
So we got two political parties. Neither one of them are perfect. You got to evaluate both of them and determine which one is going to be better for you, which one's going to be better for the country. So now I just spent 15 minutes running down what happens under, and anybody could do this. This information is out there right now. It is. There's a party that's trying to do away with history. So you need to check this real quick.
And you're right. They're trying to do away with history.
Yeah.
And I disagree with them doing away with history.
Right. But if you do your search, if you do a little bit of research, you'll find what I found, which was under a Democratic administration, the country does better than when under a Republican administration. You'll find that. So and again, if you go out there, I saw Bill Maher. He had a guest on, and Bill Maher was asking the question, what happened to us to where today it's acceptable, it's normalized that the president of the United States lies almost consistently. Anytime he's on TV where the world can see him, he's going to tell a bunch of lies. He's not going to tell one or two. This is predictable, but it's accepted. How do we get here? So that's all I'm talking about. We got choices. Now, Kamala Harris, she's a female, she's a black female. People can say whatever they want to say about her, but they can't say that they can say it, but it's not true. She is not a habitual liar. She is not. She's very not. So I'm not going to get into that with how good Kamala was. But what we'll do is we'll come back to choices. The midterms. Right now, we have a Senate Congress controlled by Republicans, right? And right now, what they have done is they have allowed President Trump to take over their responsibilities and their duties. As far as I know, Congress is supposed to be the ones who control the purse. But that's not who's doing that right now. It's President Trump, and the Congress is not putting him in check. Now, we can continue down this road in the midterms, and we're going to continue getting what we're getting right now with these tariffs, high prices, and yada, yada, yada. All right? People aren't asleep. People are woke. Republicans are woke. Democrats are woke. Liberals are woke. Conservatives are woke. We see and are experiencing what's going on. The question is, are we willing to acknowledge and do anything about it? That's what it's going to come down to. But I keep saying, we got two choices. Neither one of them are perfect. And I'm not here to tell you that the Democratic Party is perfect, that the liberals are perfect. There are things I can run down and say, I don't agree with that. One of the things President Trump has been very vocal about, and Republicans, that I totally agree with, no hesitation. I don't think transgender males should be playing in female sports. That don't make no damn sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can say that. But anyway,
I agree.
Go ahead, brother.
I agree. I got a daughter. I don't want her playing against men. I don't give a damn. I don't care what you identify with. You was born with that other chromosome over there. I don't give a damn what you think you are. I know it. There's a biological fact that goes on. I don't care how you feel about it.
Right.
So no, I don't want my daughter playing sports against a man.
Right.
A male. Period.
Right. And so there are things, just like you was trying to do with those folks that you were over the weekend. You have a different view on some things, but you wanted to discuss with these other people your view. You also wanted to be able to listen to their view. But we have some people sometimes we get so caught up that we can't be civil with each other. We can't have intellectually honest conversations with each other. And that's where the problem comes in. Now, with this intellectual honesty thing, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But I think that's what the problem is sometimes. Okay, so again, kind of a recap of some of the things that we discussed. Let's see here. So I've also heard some folks say, and this is kind of go along the same lines that we've been talking about. I've heard people say, there's really not much difference between the two parties, and my thought is you got a point. But my response would be is that the two parties are similar, but they're not the same. The two parties are similar, but they're not the same. And again, we all agree that the Democratic Party appears to represent the interests, especially of minorities, blacks, and so on, more than the Republican Party, at least for the last 50 to 75 years. So do you still kind of think that or not? That it appears that the Democratic Party appears to represent the interests of minorities, blacks, and other minorities communities more than the Republican Party over the last 50 years or so. You still kind of agree with that or what?
No, the appearance, yes. The appearance,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
That it appears that they represent the voice of the voiceless.
Okay, all right. So we can at least agree on that. Also, one of the things that we agreed on, except for your asterisk, you remember what your asterisk was about?
What was my asterisk? Hold on. My asterisk.
Yeah. I had made the comment that Donald Trump was the most notorious and famous liar as president of any other politician in American history. And you said, yeah, I agree with that, but there's an asterisk. You remember that?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to have the other guys here for this part, but they're not here. So you and I'll do this, Jackie.
Right.
So with your permission, I'd like to declare and establish the following. This is with your permission. So first of all, and I still feel this way. The other guys, they're not here, but they'll hear this. But I trust you guys on this podcast. I trust you. I trust Michael. And I trust Jonathan on this podcast. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be on the podcast. I trust your intelligence. I think you're intelligent. Character. I trust your honesty, and I trust your integrity. Or again, you wouldn't be on this podcast. So, since I trust you, I trust that the conversations we're going to have are going to be intellectually honest. That's why I mentioned a little earlier about intellectually honest. In other words, we agree that we're going to be truthful when communicating, even when it may contradict our own beliefs or desired outcome. We're going to attempt to present information without being biased, admit when we are wrong or don't know something. Just like you had said, hey, look, you know what? I've given it some thought after these podcasts or whatever else has been going on. I can reconsider and at least say, I can think now that maybe I could have went the other way. I'm not saying I should have, but I'm at least willing to consider it. So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. So do we all, or do you agree and understand what my proclamation is, Jackie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. And you understand?
I'm locked in.
Okay, you locked in. So great. So now that I've set you up, please.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I open myself up for somebody saying that.
Yeah. So answer the following. So answer the following questions, and these questions are dealing with some of the preferred qualities we agree on that we should look for in a desired president. In a desired president. Should our president be considered intelligent? Do you agree or not agree?
Should our president
be considered
intelligent?
Yes. Do you agree with?
He should be considered intelligent.
Okay. All right. Good. Should our president be qualified?
Yes.
Okay. Should our president be of sound character?
Now,
go ahead. There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk. Go ahead.
There's an asterisk to that, though.
Okay, go ahead with the asterisk.
The asterisk is when you say qualified and all that right there. The asterisk, I say, a lot of times when it comes to politicians, they know where the bodies are buried, so they know how to talk to you or talk to the public and leave out certain critical information because they know you may not be educated enough or knowledgeable enough to know when they're pulling the wool over your eye. So that's my issue with that.
Okay, and so
I think qualified to do the job, or qualified or intelligent enough to understand the position and the way it looks from a political standpoint, economy standpoint, a country standpoint. Yes, but don't get up and start speaking from an angle of this is what we're going to do per se, knowing you can't do that because you know the intricate details of how to get to circumvent and move away from a lot and move away from things that was promised in the run up to the election type things.
Okay.
Because once you get in office, But you know it when you know where the bodies are buried. You know how to avoid a grave. That's my point.
I got you. So, and I think you brought up a really really good point. As far as what do I mean when I say qualified or qualifications? That's a very very good question.
Yes.
But we do agree though that the person should be at least qualified in our mind. So let's just talk about that for
Correct.
let's just talk about that for a quick second. Qualifications for the president of the United States. Could we agree that one of the qualifications of a president should be that he or she shows a certain level of honesty? Shouldn't we? I mean, I'm asking the question. Should that be what we all should agree on? Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. Should we all agree that one of the qualifications of a president should be his or her degree of honesty? In other words, we can. In other words, we can.
Level of honesty. I give you that. I give you that.
Yeah.
I give you that. A certain level of honesty.
Right. And so we can't really measure that necessarily, other than saying we think this person is honest or we think they're dishonest. It's kind of hard to measure that, It's kind of hard to measure that. But if we can get to the point, now there are some people, I think it might be hard for us to say, are they or were they really an honest person or not? Some people, you might go, well, I don't know. Was Harris honest? I don't know. Was Reagan honest? I don't know. Was George? Know. Yeah, was George W. Bush honest? But if you say, was Donald Trump honest? What would you say? Would you say I don't know?
I don't know. Watch it. I don't believe Trump was honest.
Okay, then. So that's my point.
He was all voted for him. I don't believe he was. I do not believe he was.
And that's cool. Honest. And that's cool. This is what I'm talking about, Jackie. This is what I'm talking about. You and I right now are having an intellectually honest conversation. You are willing to acknowledge that you do not believe Donald Trump is honest, but you still voted for him for other reasons. And I can't criticize you for that. I won't criticize you for that. You had your reasons for voting for Donald Trump, but one of them wasn't his honesty. And you're acknowledging that. That's all I'm talking about. That doesn't make you a good person. That doesn't make you a bad person. That just makes you a person willing to be honest about this. And that's all we're looking for. So, but qualified, again, honesty, that should be one of the qualifications, I think. I would think that a person who's going to be the president of the United States, I honestly think that they should have some background in the job. Now I know a lot of people voted for Trump because they said, hey, he's got a business background. We need to start running the government like a business and so on and so on and so on. And one of the key things about a business person that I think people, I don't know if they didn't realize this, they forgot, they ignored it. But one of the key components of a business person, to me anyway, is that what is their bottom line? What is you tell me, Jackie, what's the bottom line of a business person?
It's making money.
What did you say? What did you say? What did you say, brother?
Making money.
You see what I'm saying?
Money. Now, making money.
Who doesn't realize that about a business person? Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that that's one of the primary requirements of a president is to make money?
No.
I mean, for the country.
That should not be.
Yeah. To me, let me clarify. Let me clarify. I got an asterisk for you. The primary purpose, as far as making money, it shouldn't be for making money for the country. Now, for themselves, Donald Trump, he's put a little twist on that. Because that is that seemed to be his primary focus right now when you look at it. That fella making a lot of money for himself.
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with you on that right there.
Yeah.
He's making a lot of money for himself, but that should not be the primary reason why you're in office.
Right.
Is to make money.
But there was a lot of people, I'm not saying Jackie, but there was a lot of people that I know personally that told me that, hey, look, we need a business person in office. Not realizing what That's not one of the primary focuses of government is to spend money on the people. Believe it or not, that's in order to take care of the people, we got to spend some money. Now, I will acknowledge a lot of that money we spend is wasteful, whether it's the Democrat or the Republican. We waste a lot of money. We waste a lot of taxpayer dollars. I worked for the federal government. I'm not going to tell you. Let me just tell you, as a civilian, I worked for the federal government as a civilian for 34 years. I personally witnessed it. I was part of the Robin Hood gang. I was part of that gang. I saw us wasting money, whether it was a Republican in office or whether it was a Democrat. So I acknowledge all of that. But I also understand. Go ahead.
No, we're in we're in the fourth quarter right now. You and I both know the fiscal year starts 1 October. How many times did July show up? How many times when July showed up, your department, your section got $50, $100, $200,000, and they tell you got 30 days to spend all this money.
Fallout money. Fallout. They call it fallout, right?
Fallout money.
Yeah.
It's called fallout money.
Yeah.
100% fallout.
And if your budget, if you didn't spend your what you allocated for that year, if you still had some money left over,
it's cut by that much next year.
If you didn't spend it. So your
toilet seats cost it. That's why your toilet seats that you can get in Walmart for $35, your toilet seats with the government cost. They cost $100. They cost $125, $130, $200 for a toilet seat.
But Brother Jackie, you spent 30 years active duty. Let me ask you a question: did it matter which administration was in?
Hell no. Hell no.
I don't even remember who the administration was when it happened, but I know every year.
Hold up. Well, I said when it came to fallout money, we don't give a shit who's in office. We got to get rid of this money.
We got to get rid of this money. And this is what I think the average citizen that's never been in the military or worked for the government, this is what they don't understand. And maybe that's why they thought that putting a business person in charge, because the government wasted so much money, they didn't understand the concept. That money that we were spending, the thing that both parties realized, the thing that they realized is that stimulated the economy. That money that we were so-called wasting was going back into the economy, helping primarily. Now, there were some big businesses that benefited too, but primarily it benefited small business owners. Okay, that money primarily supported small business owners. So just a little lesson here for folks that don't know how that works. So as far as a qualification, those are just a couple of the things. Character. The president's character should matter, right? Wouldn't you think?
Correct. Yes.
Do you approve of Donald Trump's character?
No, I never approved of his character.
Okay, me neither. Yeah, me neither. I've never approved
of his character. In 2016, like I said on this podcast 2 weeks ago, when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was running, I'm standing at the polls, and you know what I'm talking about, in Levine.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself,
right,
it's 2016, and the best that I have to choose from is Bill Clinton. It's Hillary Clinton and Donald J. Trump.
Right.
That was an insult. That was an insult to me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so, all right. So then, still looking at what we should design a president. We just talked about the character. We already talked about honesty. Should the president be honest? We've already agreed that. Should our president have unquestionable integrity? Do you think Trump has that? Unquestionable integrity?
I don't think he don't have it, but I don't think no one else before him had it either.
Okay, all right. Again, remembering
but should he have unquestionable integrity? Absolutely, he should have it.
Yeah,
yes, but she should have it. Whether it be whoever's in office, they should have unquestionable integrity. Integrity should be solid.
Right, and so evidently you got another asterisk, which was even the ones prior to him didn't really meet your approval either. That's what it sounded like you said. So I just want to. Is that kind of?
I think they've all had questionable integrity.
Okay. And so, okay, and so here we go again, though. See, I guess I told you guys this last time. I'm just kind of a black and white person, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's good or bad. It still came down to Donald Trump and Kamala Harris or whoever, and we look at integrity. We got there's a spectrum. To me, there's a spectrum. We we got someone whose integrity, there ain't no question about it. It's definitely lacking, versus someone who may have questionable integrity. Which one am I going to choose? And I'm writing all this down in my mind. I'm putting it down, and I'm weighing stuff. And at the end of all this weighing, evaluating, I'm going to have to. I don't have to, but I'm going to choose based upon my responses. And so my question for you, brother Jackie, is today, and I was going to ask Michael and Jonathan this too, but based upon what you know today, and again, we're at this point right now, based upon what we just discussed, between Harris and Trump, which of those two, no matter who you voted for, we already know who you voted for, but based upon your response today and what we've discussed so far today, which one of those two, based upon the answer to those questions, which one of those two appears, here we go again, appears to represent those presidential qualities more, Trump or Harris? Now, remember, before you answer, I told you, look. No, it's not a matter of like. Remember, I set you up. Remember at the beginning of this thing,
Yeah, I know.
I set you up. I told you, I trust you. I trust your integrity, your character, your honesty, your integrity. I said I trust you. All right. And I'm gonna tell you, before you answer, Jackie, brother, I love you. I love you. And whatever your answer is, it's going to be helpful for me. It's going to be helpful for me. And you probably will never, ever, ever realize how helpful this is going to be for me. Because what I believe is, I know you. You're a smart man. You're an intelligent man. You're an honest man. You're a man of integrity. I know you. And if you answer the way I think you say you're going to answer, that's what it sounds like, that's going to help me. Because here's what that's going to do for me. For many people, and I think this is what happened in the election, and it's probably going to happen again, I don't know. No matter what, and I hate to use the word facts. But for lack of a better understanding, I'm going to use the word facts. No matter what the facts are that's presented to many of us, we are still going to choose that other answer. And that's the part that got me. But okay, I'm sorry, brother. So go ahead. You said I wasn't gonna like it, but it's not a matter of whether I like it or not.
Like it.
Go ahead.
I don't have enough information outside of how I personally feel. I'm removing my personal feelings out of the equation.
Out of the equation. And I appreciate.
I don't have enough information right now that would change the vote that I cast.
I got you.
And my vote and to be very clear, my vote could be totally wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
I just don't have enough.
I'm just saying.
I personally being open and transparent.
Yeah, but I personally.
It's just me being open and transparent.
Yeah, but for me, Jackie, and for all the listeners out there, I personally will not say that nobody's vote was wrong. I will not say that. I will not say that people that voted for Donald Trump voted wrong. I will not say that. People voted for Donald Trump due to their conscience. They voted for Donald Trump or Harris based upon their conscience, what they thought was right for them and the country, hopefully. I will not argue with that. Do you understand? I'm not one of those people that's going to be at that picnic or party that you was talking about that's going to be arguing with you and telling you that you screwed up by voting for Donald Trump. I'm not one of those people because I think Jackie has the same right as I have to vote for who the hell he think is going to properly represent him and the country. And I will say that until the end. You follow me, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I can look back on my vote and say, okay, maybe I didn't have enough information. Maybe watch this, Bob. Maybe I voted emotionally. Maybe my vote was cast from an emotional position.
Jackie, my brother.
Yes.
My brother. You just said something that's affected, no doubt in my mind, millions of people, brother. I really think that there was a lot of people that voted more on emotions, no matter what they were. I think that there was more people that, because if you lay everything out, I don't know what else and you just helped me. You see what I just said? I told you whatever your damn answer was going to be helpful to me. And you just said, Jackie, you just said something that I didn't even think about. That there are a lot of people out there who voted more on emotions. Damn, I'm just telling you, you just helped me. I never thought about that. I honestly never considered that people voted more on emotion than some of these other things that we talked about. I really appreciate that. And I'm serious. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we need to do. We need to have these kind of conversations. Now, you saying that, we got midterms coming up. Does that mean you, the other people, me, won't do that again? I don't know.
Let me tell you what this means. I need to go deep dive into who's running in the midterms and educate myself on it. That is what I'm tasked. If I'm going to be casting a vote that affects all of us, I should be educated on who I'm casting my vote for, and not making an emotional decision. Period.
Right.
I need to educate myself. So the onus is on me to go level up, not on anybody else.
Right.
To go peek over the wall behind the scenes to understand who I'm voting for. Right.
And I'll tell you, Brother Jackie, and on that point, you and I are going to end here in a second. But on that point, for me, and I'm not going to put this on everybody. I'm just not going to do it. But for me, for those folks that might be having problems, kind of figuring out, what they need to do, and maybe might be leaning more toward voting emotionally than this is all I can leave you with, brother. Like I said, I'm kind of a black and white guy. And one of the black and white things I know as far as politics go is right now, unless things change, right now I got one or two choices. That's what I have. Now they got this independent party, these other, but I got one or two. I got one or two choices. I'm going to either vote Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. Okay, that's the first thing I got to look at is those two choices. Because each of those parties, they represent a certain agenda. And you sort out what that agenda is. But we kind of went over some of these things. We looked at history, right? And it's been relatively consistent to what these parties represent. So for me, this is for me. When it comes down to it, and I've got these two candidates, and I'll be honest with you, when me and my wife, we do mail-in voting, we both sit down. She's got her ballot, I got my ballot. We sit down at the kitchen table. And as far as president, we don't have an issue. We know who those two people are. We already got it set. But then when it comes down to certain senators, congressmen, judges, these people, a lot of them we don't know. So we got to talk about it. But here's our fallback. If it's a Democrat, and if we know this Democrat, and there's some practices this Democrat we have a problem with, and then we got this Republican, we kind of know them. Seems like there's some things that we agree with them on more so than the Democrat. We'll go with the Republican. I'm going to be honest with you. We'll go to Republican. But in most cases, if they're both equal and we don't know or whatever, we're going to go with that Democrat. We're going to go with the Democrat because we look at history. And history-wise, we know that the Democratic Party, for the most part, the economy runs better under Democratic administration, and the Democrats have a tendency to look out for the people more than the Republicans do. That's what we fall back on. So for us, that works for us. Now, other people is not going to work for you because you're operating on emotion. Now, when I say you, I'm not talking about you, Jackie, in specific, but I'm saying that other folks are voting on emotions. They're voting on the team they're on. They're voting on those type of things. But anyway, brother, I'm gonna give you the chance to finish us off here. And there's some other stuff we didn't get to cover, but maybe that's good because we'll set up Jonathan and Michael for next week. We won't let them know what we talked about.
This as much as as much as I think about this kind of stuff, I think this is one of the best points of views. Like we have to be able to have a dialogue, a discourse that says, okay, I don't have to agree with you.
Right.
You don't have to agree with me.
Right.
But bro, let's go educate ourselves. Let's have educated conversation without the emotions.
Yes.
But we don't move the needle forward as a community, as people, when we want to, when our only position is, I don't like this person. I like to say, I voted for Trump. I can sit here and say that, you know what? I didn't like the thing that Kamala Harris is saying. Did I give her a fair shake? I can sit here and say, maybe not. I don't think I gave her a fair shake. And so now I got to sit back and say, you know what? I need to regroup. Maybe the problem wasn't her. Maybe the problem was me. Maybe the problem was the man in the damn mirror. And so that is how I'm looking at this. So we don't get better until we begin to deep dive into where we sit, and exposing ourselves to ourselves. Meaning this: if I got a problem with Kamala Harris, did I have a problem with her politics, or did I have a problem with the fact that she was a woman? Right. It gets deep. So we have to. When do we become real with each other and say, you know what, bro, you're right, I'm wrong, and I stand corrected, and that's all I'm saying. But we got to move past some of these emotions. And I like today because you and I can sit and have this conversation. And we disagree on this issue. Let me be very clear to everybody on this. We disagree vehemently on this issue right here. You and I disagree with this.
Right.
But it's none of this along the lines of you trash, you're a piece of shit. You telling me I'm trash, I'm a piece of shit. No. All right, bro. Let me figure out where you coming from. Right. Once I figure out where you coming from, now I know how to move. Right. But it's the fact of the matter, this starts with the level of education.
I agree.
Education. When I was a stockbroker in Phoenix, I used to tell my clients, on top of everything regardless of what I say to you, go do your due diligence on anything that I'm telling you. Right. And I would encourage our listeners to follow your suggestion, recommendation, and advice. Okay, Brother Jackie, I really appreciate it. Listeners, I appreciate you folks for listening in. Again, if you got any feedback, give us a holler. We're on Facebook. Look up DNA Hardwired. Common sense turned upside down. We're open to the public. We invite you to like our page, like this podcast, join in, give us some feedback. We appreciate all of that good stuff. So this is Pop and Jackie signing off. You guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, appreciate you guys. See you next week. Signing out.
Think it through, people.